Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to ChasingCinema.com's official YouTube channel. I'm your host, Jacob Toronto, and in the fact that Mission Impossible 5 Rogue Nation is coming out to theaters this Friday, July 31st, I decided to kind of take a trip down memory lane and revisit all of the Mission Impossible movies. Yesterday, I actually revisited the first Mission Impossible movie, which came out in 1996. If you've not seen that video, take time out to go check out that video on our YouTube channel. You can watch what I had to say about that movie. It was very, very fun to review that picture. And now we're moving on to Mission Impossible 2. This picture, which I think is going to kind of maybe create a little bit of a divide because some people feel very, very differently about this movie. Now, Mission Impossible 2 came 4 years after the first Mission Impossible movie. And if you missed yesterday's review, let me kind of back up. This was the first Mission Impossible movie that I ever saw. I was 9 years old when this movie came out back in 2000, and I probably saw it maybe a year or two after it came out, so I was probably like 10 or 11. And I was explaining yesterday, this was the first one I saw, and it wasn't until I started collecting movies and really, really getting into motion pictures and film in general, I decided to start collecting and went back and purchased and watched the first Mission Impossible movie, which I absolutely loved. However, I will say that John Woo, who directed this picture, made my favorite Mission Impossible movie. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, what? It's pretty crazy to kind of think that this is my favorite. But truth is, I think because I have so much history in this movie and because I'm a really big fan of John Woo, this movie has been the Mission Impossible movie that really kind of stands by my favorite and the reason why I enjoy it so much. Now, if you look on Rotten Tomatoes, every Mission Impossible movie has been reviewed very, very well, except for this movie. This is the only movie to kind of receive both a negative review from critics and general audiences. But, sometimes everyone's just wrong. And I'm telling you, this movie is a really, really great example of it. Tom Cruise returns as Ethan Hunt, who is sent to Sydney to destroy a genetically modified disease called Chimera. And there is just so much fun in this movie, and I know I keep using that term to describe this series, and I'm trying not to sound repetitive, but it's an engaging movie. The action scenes are beautifully broken down by John Woo. He slows things down for us. He really elevates this movie and kind of really allows Tom Cruise to become the main focus. As I was explaining yesterday, the Mission Impossible movie was about the Impossible Mission Force, the group that was the show was about. And in the first movie, we just kind of was Tom Cruise was the superstar. So 4 years later, we have a movie that really focuses on Tom Cruise, Ethan Hunt, and even in the back of the box even says the world's greatest spy returns. So obviously the more renewed version of James Bond. I'm not trying to knock James Bond. I'm not trying to compare the two, but in 2000. When Pierce Brosnan was playing James Bond, the movies weren't that spectacular. And we, people wanted to kind of look at a new spy. Tom Cruise was a little bit cooler. He was more popular at this time period, so it kind of makes sense. Ving Rhames also returns to this picture. Tom Cruise is joined by Thandie Newton. She's really, really good in this picture. I'm a big fan of her, and I really like her in this movie. She and Cruise have really, really great chemistry. Doug Ray Scott was the villain in this movie. He plays really, really good character. But the kind of two things I really want to emphasize about Mission Impossible are the soundtrack, which is really, really great. Limp Bizkit kind of did a revamped version of the Mission Impossible theme song, which is the only reason because I know. But Hans Zimmer does an incredible score for this movie, and the blending of the two really, really make these scenes work. But there's your classic John Woo stuff in here. There's plenty of doves and birds flying around. My favorite scene in this movie is this really, really great scene, and I don't want to spoil it if you've not seen this movie. So if you've not seen it, go check this movie out. And if you have, if you have, then it doesn't matter. So spoiler alert, guys. Spoiler, because this is the best part of the movie, and I don't want to spoil it for you. So our main bad guy has a sidekick, and the sidekick goes out to grab Ethan Hunt, who he's knows that's in the building. They're in this bunker at this point, doing a $30 million transaction, and all of a sudden, through the smoke, out comes this sidekick named Hugh, who throws Ethan Hunt on the floor. And, the villain just kind of walks over to him. And is just so happy to see him. He shoots him in the leg, steps on it, and Ethan's just mumbling. And, he's like, stop mumbling. And Hugh, his sidekick, goes, oh, I think he has to because I broke his jaw. And he goes, oh, good boy, Hugh. And ends up just completely shooting Ethan Hunt. I know that's not how guns sound. I don't know why I did that. Completely shooting him, killing him. Only to find out that once Ethan's body falls over, he sees a bandaged finger. Now, this brings you back to an earlier point in the movie when Sean, the main villain, clipped the finger of Hugh, his best friend / sidekick, with a cigar, I don't know what you call it, a cigar cutter? I don't know if that's the right term. Immediately knowing that this is not actually Ethan Hunt. And I didn't talk about this yesterday, but one of the great effects in this movie is this ability that they could create masks that literally take shape and form of a face. So we literally are looking at Tom Cruise, but then he pulls back this mask, and lo and behold, it is actually his sidekick. And as we reveal this screaming villain who is so upset with what he just did, we cut to the sidekick running outside. Now, this is getting a little bit confusing, but once you watch it, you'll know what I mean. He's running out with this disease and the as well as the antidote, or maybe it's just the antidote. And he rips off his face to reveal Ethan Hunt. And it might sound kind of cheesy, but with the music to it, I believe the track on Hans Zimmer's score is called Bear Island. You can listen to it on YouTube. Amazing. And I mean, when you put it to this, it's just awesome. You have the orchestral, angelic voices, and great fun. And there's there's a lot of great car sequences, well, not car sequences, but like chase sequences. We have motorcycles and cars, and overall, this movie really worked. And you have Anthony Hopkins voicing the man who's given him missions, which is really cool as well. But a very fun movie. I think it's a very overlooked Mission Impossible movie. I think because it went more on the John Woo style of action is very different, and some might consider it kind of cheesy. I was talking to somebody and said, that's the cheesy one. And I said, no, man, it's really good, but I think that's the kind of mentality a lot of people have about this picture, where the other movies do seem a little bit more serious, but this one totally kind of seems a little bit more like, this is it. We are the new James Bond. We are cool, and I got that, and it really translated to me. So my thing is, though, I want to know what your opinion is of Mission Impossible 2. Let me know down here in the comment sections below. We could have a conversation about it. Hopefully you don't want to argue with me, but I'm telling you guys, go back and rewatch this movie if you've not seen it in a long time or never seen it before. And if you have, like I said, let me know what your thoughts are down here in the comment sections below. I want to talk about this movie. Let's get prepared for Rogue Nation, which is hitting theaters this Friday, July 31st. Guys, also make sure to tune in tomorrow and the following day, where I'm going to be reviewing Mission Impossible 3 and Ghost Protocol. I want you guys to be a part of that, as well as where I'm reviewing the vacation movies before that movie comes out. All available here on this YouTube channel. Just hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on any of those videos. And to do you guys one more favor, I'm going to actually be posting the trailer to this movie on ChasingCinema.com. Just head over to the news section at ChasingCinema.com, click the news button. You'll be able to find all of our daily video news updates, and amongst them, you'll be able to see my Mission Impossible 2 review. Click the link below to take you to the trailer, and you could fully see what I'm talking about. Maybe I will post the scene I'm talking about, but you need to watch it in the movie. Don't just watch it without context. That takes away all the fun. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for taking time into your day to sit and talk with me about Mission Impossible 2. My name is Jacob Toronto. On your way out, give this video a thumbs up to show me you appreciated me doing it and that you had fun watching it. And please continue chasing cinema.